So, good morning. Welcome everybody to the April 10th, 2018 Board of Commissioners meeting. And this morning, we're very privileged to have Reverend Joe Evans, the senior pastor from the First Presbyterian Church in Marietta, lead us in invocation, followed by Officer William Shorten leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Those that are willing and able, please stand.
Let us pray. Almighty and ever-loving God, we give you thanks for this, a new day, and a new opportunity to serve you faithfully. I pray a special blessing upon the men and women of the County Commission, praying, O Lord, that as they represent your people, you would grant them the gifts of energy, that they might bear the burden of leadership with strength, imagination, that they might see not only what is, but what could be, and love, that they would not serve out of self-interest, but out of love for their brothers and sisters who they represent. Almighty God, may your will be done through them this day. I pray it in the name of our Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, thank you, Pastor. Officer, appreciate you starting out the program this morning. And we have a number of presentations. So this morning I'll start out with Commissioner Weatherford presenting a Make-A-Wish Georgia check from the 7th Annual Cobb County 5K.
All right, good morning. If I could have Mr. Tim Early and Jaylee Welch and Lindsay Pearson come up from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Thank you. Good morning. It's good to have you here today. And we're here to present you with some fake check. Let me grab it real quick. How about $30,000?
That sounds fantastic.
Wow. On Saturday, October 7th, 2017, the 17th Annual Cobb County 5K was held at the Marietta Square. Around 400 runners came through the historic Marietta District, and $30,000 was raised, represents registration donations for the Make-A-Wish of Georgia. So, presenting sponsor this year was Melinda Mims Company with a donation of $10,000, and the Wish Partnership sponsorship was Atlanta Braves with a donation of $4,000. So we know you do a good work, and we're proud to be able to help you with this, and hopefully it goes to a good cause. I know it always will. So I'd like to say a few words.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Cobb County for this was the 17th annual running of this race, and it goes to help grant wishes for kids right here in Cobb County. And specifically this year, we even had the Cobb County Police Department stepped up in a special way, provided a nice escort to one of our Wish kids who wished to blast off in a red rocket ship and travel to Saturn last year. And with your help, we made that happen. So thank you guys very much.
Wow. That's great. So it's a great foundation. If you haven't, please consider donating to them. They do a good cause for those in need, and we appreciate any help you can help them with, and we're glad to be helpful in giving you this dollars here for that foundation. Thank you. And be careful, it may rub off, I'm not sure.
Thank you. Could use a trip to Saturn today.
I was going to say something about that.
The next one, Commissioner Weathers, once again, be presenting a check to the Safe Kids Cobb Community and Cobb County Safety Village Foundation, a result of a.
Okay, I know we have a lot of people here for the Safe Kids and Cobb County Safety Village Foundation, so if they could come up. Good morning. What a nice-looking group here. We had a golf tournament back, I forgot when it was now, was it? October, yeah, because I donated a lot of money and balls to the Woods during that particular tournament. But it was a great time, and a lot of money was raised. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it, Allison? This is Allison Carter with Cobb County Safety Village. Or do you want me to say it?
No. Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa because it really is a big event. I knew that's the reason you put me in the front. But it is a great cause, and I will say this is Lisa Crossman is usually here and does a great job, but this was the 14th? Good, I was putting us way ahead of the game. 14th annual golf tournament, and it's been a huge event, and I've always enjoyed being a part of it. And the Safety Village is one of the recipients of some of the proceeds. But I'll also talk about what we do, what Safe Kids does.
Okay. So Safe Kids in Cobb County has been around for 25 years, if you didn't know that. We do injury prevention programs in the community. We educate parents as well as children, and we distribute safety equipment, things like car seats and life jackets and smoke detectors and bike helmets. So those are the types of programs that we do. The good news is that we got some numbers this year to show that there has been a 66% decrease in deaths due to unintentional injury right here in Cobb County since 1994. That's huge. Yeah. So what we're doing actually does work, and but we're not through yet because we still have some kids to keep safe and parents to educate. So these funds go to help our operating budget and help us keep doing these programs in the community and keeping the children in Cobb County safe.
Excellent. And if you want to introduce who's with you, and then I'll
Sure.
introduce.
This is Lori Ross. She is with Cobb and Douglas Public Health. Safe Kids Cobb County has two lead agencies, Wellstar Health System, who I work through, and Cobb and Douglas Public Health. Melissa Chanleva is also a coordinator for Safe Kids, and she works through Public Health. We have a whole myriad of people that I'm going to mess up everybody's name, so I'm gonna let her do this because I'll mess it up. Go.
Well, and this is also Lisa Grisham, and she is one of the co-coordinators along with Melissa. So it is a great partnership that Safe Kids is at the Safety Village, and obviously our missions align with trying to reduce injuries with our youth. So, but from the Safety Village Foundation, Nerdon Cornelius is our chair this year, Devin Seabaugh is on our board, Randy Kreider, Fire Chief, Mark Matthews with Hensler, director, and Suzanne Pete also helps with both Safe Kids with the golf tournament and our foundation. So we're very honored.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it will.
$81,837. That's a lot of golfing and silent auctions there, I'll tell you. This group did a great job getting this put together. It's a great tournament. If you've not played in it or had the time to stop by, at least the auctions and everything are great. The prizes are great, and it goes to a great cause. So we appreciate all that you do and all you do for the kids, and it's great news about the reduction. And let's keep it up. Let's get it down to zero. No more. Columbus Day. This year. All right. Let's give them one more big hand, please. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Everyone get where you can see. 3, 2, 1. Couple more. Thank you.
I was just thinking about all the golf balls you left out in the forest. I think that might be an environmental hazard. We were going to have proclamation for Representative Kevin Tan, who helped us with the transit bill, but he had, his duties took him elsewhere in the state today, so we'll do that later in the month. So now I'll have Commissioner Burrow with another incredible proclamation.
Good morning, everyone. If I could have the Sons of the American Revolution join us this morning. It's always an honor to present this proclamation prior to celebrating Patriots Day, April 19th. Hey, Wayne. Good. So, I'm going to read the proclamation, then I'm going to ask y'all to say a few words to update us on our history here. Give us a history lesson. Whereas April 19th marks the date in 1775 when the towns of Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts were marched upon by the British regulars in an effort to confiscate munitions of the local militia. And whereas the resulting shot heard round the world and the rout of the Redcoats are now celebrated as Patriots' Day. And whereas on April 19, 1778, Colonel Samuel Elbert, commanding 3 Georgia Navy galleys, Lee, Washington, and Bullock, encountered 3 British ships in the Frederica River near St. Simon's Island. And whereas after 5 hours of naval action, the British ship were captured by Colonel Elbert and the Georgia Navy, a victory which boosted the morale of all Georgia patriots and caused the British to delay their invasion of Georgia by more than 8 months. And whereas Patriots' Day serves to remind citizens of our revolution and the sacrifices endured during the years of struggle by patriots, such as Captain John Collins for American independence. And whereas the descendants of the soldiers who fought in the American Revolution encourage the community to proclaim April 19th of each year as Patriots' Day in commemoration of the American Revolution and the struggle for independence. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim April 19th, 2018 as Patriots' Day and urge all Cobb County residents to become more knowledgeable of the role which the Revolutionary War played in our history and in our county and our nation. This is the 10th day of April, 2018.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Wayne Brown. I am the immediate past state president of the Georgia Society of Sons of the American Revolution. And before I introduce my compatriots here, let me just, if I may, say a few words. The Sons of the American Revolution is a very special organization. It is actually only one of 2 501c3 organizations that has been enacted by the United States Congress. So this is not your typical 501c3 organization. It is a pleasure to be here today. And to think that this is the day that we are celebrating, even though it happened on April 19th, 1775, which begun a desperate fight for the freedoms that we enjoy today. We sat here in a comfortable room, air-conditioned. We sat in clothes that fit us and nice. We have water. We have everything here at our fingertips. But I want to tell you, in 1775, when it all started and progressed to a ragtag army that defeated the greatest military power known to man at the time, the British Army. And we won the freedom that we enjoy today. If during the time we could think this coming week and reflect on what those men went through when they marched against the British Army, when they laid it all on the line so that you and I can enjoy what we have today. What a privilege. God, I love this country. And I hope you do too. Because I want to tell you, it is those patriots that went before you and before us that made it all possible. Thank you so much. And now I will, Bob, if you'll hand this on down and introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Bob Sapp, also past president of State Society and currently state registrar.
I'm Stallings Howell, and I'm secretary of the Johns Collins chapter here that meets every third Tuesday in the month.
I'm Earl Cagle, current president of the Captain John Collins chapter of Sons of the American Revolution. We appreciate the opportunity to be here, and thank you very much for this recognition.
Thank you all, and God bless you, and God bless America.
Amen.
And now we're going to have a picture. I love these eyes.
Three, two, one. Two more. Thank you. And one more.
Lydia, I'll see you in September for Constitution Day with the DAR. Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a very inspiring speech. You should, every school, if not in Cobb County, certainly in America, should hear what he just said, because it's all about what those few men and women did 200 years ago to allow us to be what we have today. Very inspiring speech. Thank you. We're now have a proclamation for the Cobb County Boys and Girls Club to designate the week of April 9th through 13th as the Boys and Girls Club Week in Cobb County. So asking here, Judge Amber Patterson, Keisa Walker, and Joseph Cortez, they join me up here. I appreciate it. Proclamation. Our young people in Cobb County are tomorrow's leaders, but many need professional youth services to help them achieve their full potential. Cobb County Boys and Girls Club serve youth who need it most in our community, and whereas the Boys and Girls Club instill in young people the self-confidence to believe they can succeed at anything which they put their minds, the clubs are also at the forefront of efforts in the areas of academic success, healthy lifestyles, and leadership, and whereas local clubs will celebrate National Boys and Girls Club Week, April 9th to 13th, with 4,000 other clubs and more than 2 million children and teens around the world, around the country. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim April 9th to 13th, 2018, as the Boys and Girls Club Week in Cobb County, and encourage all residents to recognize the organization's impact on our community by providing them comprehensive and effective youth development services this 10th day of April, 2018. So, Your Honor, if you would take this and then give us a few kind words about the great program that you have here in the county.
Thank you. So I'm Amber Patterson. I'm a juvenile court judge, and Joseph and Keisa and I are on the board of the Boys and Girls Club here in Cobb County. I see, in my real job, I see a lot of kids that have kind of lost their way. And none of those kids are club kids, because the Boys and Girls Club here does such an amazing job of showing kids how to stay in school and stay off the streets and stay out of trouble. So thank you all so much for your support. It's a great organization. If you ever have an opportunity to look it up and try to help us out, we would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks.
And now we're going to have a proclamation to designate April 8th through 14th as Cobb County Victims' Right Week in Cobb County. And that, I'd like to have everybody from the DA's office that wants to come here and up here and get a picture. There were just too many names.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
We'll let them get their names introduced here after we read the proclamation. Yeah, come on up, absolutely. You bet. Anybody else out there want to come up? This is terrific. Thank you for coming out this morning. Proclamation. Whereas Americans are the victims of 20 million crimes each year affecting individuals and communities, and whereas reaching and serving all victims of crime is essential to supporting thriving communities because those who receive holistic service and support are more likely to remain invested in their communities, and whereas we must continue to make a dedicated effort to expand the circle of those prepared to respond to victims and link them to the resources that can help them recover, and whereas Cobb County's victims service providers are hereby dedicated to strengthening victims and survivors in the aftermath of crime, building resilience in our communities and our victims responders, ensuring that all victims of crime are afforded their rights, working for justice for all their victims and survivors. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the week of April 8th through 14th, 2018, as Crime Victims' Rights Week, and reaffirm Cobb County's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime, and to express our sincere gratitude for community members, victim service providers, and criminal justice professionals who assist victims of crime so that they may find support, justice, and peace. This is the 10th day of April, 2018. I'll let you do the honors.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good morning. I'm Jesse Evans. I'm the Major Crimes Prosecutor for the Cobb DA's office. I work with elected District Attorney Vic Reynolds, and we have members here of not only the DA's office, victim witness staff, we also have members here of the Solicitor General's office, victim witness staff, Solicitor General Barry Morgan. They stand here on behalf of him. We also have members here of Live Safe and Safe Path. I think it's often easy to see your prosecutors as being the front lines of the fight against crime here in Cobb County. What you don't realize is that oftentimes our front lines begin with the behind the scenes that are not always visible, and particularly with our victim witness staff members and members of organizations such as Live Safe and Safe Path. And we as prosecutors are just honored to work with these individuals and are very grateful to have this recognition today. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Director of Victim Witness Unit in the DA's office, Kim McCoy.
A lot of words there. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, and other commissioners for allowing us to be here and for recognizing this week as Crime Victims' Rights Week. We do have a Victims' Rights ceremony this evening at 6:30 at Deborah Burns Memorial Park right outside the Superior Courthouse. We would love for you all to come help us in honoring those that we serve here in Cobb County. And a special thank you again for being here today and for recognizing this as Crime Victims' Rights Week.
Don't pass them, let them know who these people are. I think it's important to be the face of this program. Yeah, go ahead.
Introduce yourself and where you work.
I'm Lauren Abernathy. I work at the DA's office. I'm in the Major Crimes Unit with Jesse, and these are my fellow staff members. Should I introduce everyone? Yeah. Okay.
My name's Heather Tripp. I work for the DA's office as well. I'm the restitution advocate.
My name's Ellen Mills. I work with the DA's office. I'm a victim advocate assigned to juvenile court.
Lena Joseph, sexual assault advocate with the DA's office.
Hi, my name is Soki Aguila. I am a part of the DA's office victim witness unit, victim advocate.
Hi, I'm Serba Viktorov. I'm assigned to the Judge Charles courtroom with the trial team. I'm a victim advocate over there.
Good morning. My name is Carelis Ferrer. I'm the Latino Outreach Coordinator at Live Safe Resources.
Good morning. I'm Denise Hession with Safe Path Children's Advocacy Center, and I'm the resource coordinator there.
Good morning. My name is Gail Garland. I'm the Director of Intervention Services at Safe Path.
I'm Saud Mustafa, and I'm with the Cobb County Solicitor General's office. I'm a victim advocate.
My name is Kayla Willis. I'm a trial line courtroom advocate in Judge Poole's courtroom in Superior Court.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Perez. I'm bilingual victim witness advocate with the Cobb DA's office and for our Latin community. Sí tenemos asistencia en español también, so estamos aquí para asistir a todo el mundo en nuestra comunidad. Gracias.
My name is Meredith Staten, and I am a courtroom advocate as well in the DA's office, and I work in Judge Green's courtroom.
Hi, I'm Haley Plunkett. I'm the new director of victim witness at Cobb Solicitor's office.
Thank you, everyone. If I might, one more minute. Just say a great big thank you to all of our community partners. It really does take a village to provide services to victims of crime. And as you heard, we have victims in juvenile court. We have victims who specialize in restitution, advocates who specialize in restitution, in sexual assault, in misdemeanor crimes, in domestic violence and sexual assault, in U visas, in the Latin community, and in post-conviction. So from the time a crime is committed until the time the case is disposed of, and way beyond for post-conviction issues such as parole matters and restitution matters. All of these people are serving victims of crime here in Cobb County and beyond. So thank you very much for your service.
And I just think it's very important that, first of all, show you how proud we are of all that you do. We really mean that. And the second thing is, these are the kind of professionals that make Cobb County the best place in Georgia, if not America, to live. So thank you for all that you do for this county. And now the famous photo.
Everyone gather to the center, please. If y'all could come more to the middle. And if you can't see me, I can't see you. Okay. 3, 2, 1. More. Thank you. Thank you all.
Last one. Okay, go back to my seat here. Yeah, well, we were going to give a presentation to Boyd McEwen, who was the famous music man, but unfortunately, Boyd passed away this past weekend. So, out of respect to their family, we're going to hold off on the presenting of the proclamation to his family until later, when the family is able to attend after they've had a chance to grieve and celebrate this truly magnificent man who represented his city and the county in a terrific way. And the last one, we have the Civitans International Awareness Month. There's a proclamation for that. And let me go back up here. And could I have Mary Karras, Pam Brems, Louise Craps, Rob Rhodes, and the North Cobb president, who I guess is represented by Ann Pratt and Pam today, right?
Some of those couldn't be here, but we do have a group of
Okay. More the merrier. Where were you last night? A proclamation. Whereas April is Civitan Awareness Month, Civitan International was founded by a group of professionals in 1917 in Birmingham, Alabama, with a motto of builders of good citizenship. And whereas there are more than 800 Civitan clubs across the world, the organization provides for such projects and causes as the Civitan International Research Center, adaptive sports and recreation, health awareness, scholarships and education, food and clothing drives, community improvement and events to raise awareness about intellectual and developmental disabilities. And whereas our community has 3 Civitan clubs, East Cobb, Marietta, and North Cobb, all of which raise funds for the area in Camp Big Heart, a camp in Georgia for special need adults and kids. They also raise money for parks adaptable for special needs adults and children. And whereas local members must also take on work ranging from serving food at Must Ministries to the Center for Children and Youth and Young Adults. They also give scholarships from their Georgia District Foundation to high school seniors throughout the state. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim April as Civitan Awareness Month in honor of the work the organization does on behalf of people throughout the county, the nation, and the world. This is the 10th day of April, 2018. So with that, you get the famous proclamation and the word.
Thank you, Chairman Boyce and the Commission. You know, we hear a lot of times, what is Civitan? And so we appreciate the proclamation of this being Civitan Awareness Month, and it is throughout the world. April is Civitan Awareness Month, and Civitans are so different throughout the world. They all reach out in service to help others. They do different projects in the communities they serve, but we all have one thing in common, and that is a focus on those with special intellectual and developmental disabilities. And we're so proud of our research center in UAB in Birmingham that works constantly to help prevent this in children and work on brain disorders and all types of autism and different disorders that we deal with today. It's one of the few in the world, we believe, that does this kind of research. So we're very proud of that. Locally, we build parks, we develop parks. You might see a Civitan serving food at Must. You might see a Civitan helping Special Olympics volunteer. You see them in all different areas. We also have a Buckcraft Scholarship at KSU for those pursuing a degree in law enforcement. We do so many things, but we're all reaching out with our hands to serve others. And today I'm proud to have several notable Civitans here with us, and I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Marge Kringle, and I am presently the secretary of our East Cobb Club. Thank you.
I'm Rob Rhodes, president of the East Cobb Club.
Elizabeth Manning, president-elect of the North Cobb Civitan.
And I'm Penny Warren, secretary of the North Cobb Civitan Club. But I was in Marietta Civitan Club for many years, and I've been a Civitan member over 25 years now, and proud of it.
And as the last group I celebrated professionals, still we have the motto in Cobb County, expect the best, and we get it from our nonprofits and our volunteers. You're another great representative of the terrific people we have here in Cobb County. We're so proud that all you do to make this county great and to take care of people not just here, but throughout the nation. So thank you very much, and now the famous photo. What a great way to start the meeting, just all the terrific services going on here. All right, tab 2 now is we're going to have a public hearing for employment of consultant services, and I'll have Steve McCullers lead us in that public hearing.
Good morning. We'd ask you this morning to conduct a public hearing for employment of consultant services where contract fees likely will exceed $100,000 for R.L. Sutton Water Reclamation Facility FY19 improvements, program number T2020.
All right, just to again go over the ground rules for public hearings, there's no limited number of speakers. Each one has 3 minutes. And so now I declare this public hearing open on the deployment of consultant services for contract fees, which would likely exceed $100,000 for the R.L. Sutton Water Reclamation Facility in the fiscal year 19 improvements program. Is there anyone here who'd like to come and talk about this issue? Sure, come on up. Just let us know who you are and you can ask your question.
My name is Walter Robinson, and I would like to get a brief summary on what this is going to do at the R.L. Sutton plant.
Sure, no problem. Steve?
So this is an upgrade of a number of unit processes at the Sutton plant, including specifically the bar screens, flash mix flocculation tanks, the primary clarifier sludge pumping system, the lime feed system, and a few other smaller individual items. If you need more specific information, I'll be happy to talk with you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Steve. With that, I now declare this public hearing to a close. All right, no vote on this one, so we'll go on to tab 3. Public comment, right, I just want to make sure that I'm in the right sequence here. So, Debbie, do we have some speakers this morning?
You have 2.
2, okay. So, we'll call you up, and you have 5 minutes to address the board.
And the first speaker is Larry Gore, please.
Thank you for hearing me. Please accept my oral comments along with my annotated notes as a follow-on to my grievance filed with you on 10/10/2017. I want to address today continuing issues that we have at Covenant Place in Powder Springs. Please accept 3 examples of lack of code enforcement and or unequal enforcement. Examples 1 and 2 concern business operating out of residence and illegal storage of materials on the lots. Example 2. Example 3 is disturbing. You know, we are a lake community, and we have a green belt around our lake. It's a area that's supposed to be conservation approved. It's supposed to be maintained as natural, and it's supposed to be accessible to all members. We have had some enforcement activity there in the buffer, in the open space. And in one case, officers gave our neighbors a notice of a violation, and they conformed, cleared their lakeshore off of their personal properties and abide by our rules and regulations. Another neighbor received no notification, still has their furniture, all their personal belongings out in the buffer. What that does, it skews the property lines between private property and common property. So people are apprehensive about exercising their rights. They're afraid they're going to get the law called on them for encroachment or for whatever the legal term is. So that's enough of that. Give you a little more background. In 2004, 2005, when we were started, we were approved for homes 3,000 square foot minimum up to 6,000 plus. Multi-level, entry level 400,000, mid-level 750, upper level 1 million plus. So there's going to be deep pockets there. They could afford to build a category 1 down maybe. But in 2014 and 15, Cobb County approved single level dwellings, entry level 190,000. So they had to make great adjustments there to accommodate the developer, but they've made none to accommodate the HOA members. Our HOA has been rendered prostrate. No longer can they enforce anything. There's been so much time passed, so much mismanagement, so much misdirection, and so many things done that just violate our codes and our covenants and our bylaws. So with that, I'd like to propose a remedy to rectify the dam and other uncompleted amenities at Covenant Place, Powder Springs, Georgia, with an affirmative vote of 51% of the current lot owners. All open space shall be deeded to Cobb County, Georgia, except 10 feet on each side of entry of Unit 1, 2, and 3. Amenities will be finished when budget allows and or circumstance requires. We will need your written agreement to this or some variation that brings justice to our community. Lisa has agreed to meet with me Friday at 1:30, and we'll continue our dialogue because we want to bring justice to our community. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
The next speaker is Rachel Slumovitz.
Good morning. I am here to represent the Save Cobb Libraries movement. We are a 1,500 strong community that wants to make sure that we have some of the basics in Cobb, those basics being our library. I don't have my books with me today. No children's literature to add to my request, but my Facebook group, Save Cobb Libraries, has been highlighting some of the libraries on the proposed budget cut list. And it's been tough seeing some of these gems, these Cobb treasures, on a potential budget cut list. Last week on the Facebook page, we highlighted the Windy Hill Library that serves our special needs adults. It provides a safe space for special needs adults that are mostly at home during the day but get together to meet and join. And that might close. Why? We all know the senior community will and has already become a large part of Cobb, but so has the special needs community. The libraries are often one of the first stops and maybe the only stops they go to. Statistics say that there are nearly 54 million Americans with special needs. This is what our community should be, a place that serves all of its patrons. The beauty of the library is that it doesn't matter who you are, your economic status, your education status, your age, your gender, your ability. You are welcome here. Please come inside. We welcome you. Cobb is the beacon, a shining example of what people want in a county. Let's keep it that way. As the budget is being studied to figure out what items to cut, please take a moment to think about the communities that will be impacted by these cuts. If a library has less circulation, it's mostly due probably to reduced or odd hours that they're open. A business thrives on advertising and being available when the customers need them most. I would be remiss if I didn't add a line for the extension service as well. Will we be the only county in Georgia's 159 counties that doesn't have an extension service? Georgia prides itself on its rural background, and gardening connects people to their land. Homeowners are more connected to land they have tilled and worked with. Please consider that significance in your upcoming budget discussions as well. The Save Cobb Libraries movement is growing every day. We now have a website, savecobblibraries.com. And we understand that the Board of Commissioners appreciate the libraries. And we thank you to continue thinking of the library's significance in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, now we're going to go to tab 4, which is the consent agenda. And Commissioner, you'd like to make a motion to delete your item?
Yes, but I don't know the number.
39.
It's item 39.
Right.
I believe it might be on the regular agenda.
Oh, okay, so it's my regular agenda. Okay, I apologize. I thought it was on. All right, with that, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as revised and authorize the execution of necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel. Second, any discussion? Yes.
Yes, I'm in support of all items except item number 25.
Okay, we'll make sure we get that recorded by the county clerk. Any other comments? That I call the question. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Okay, we're on to tab 5 now, which is the transportation agenda. And Mr. Wilgus.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. County Manager. Hold on one second. We have 6 items this morning. Our first item is to approve the revised budget and schedule for the 2011 Transportation Improvement Program funded primarily by the 2011 Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. The 2011 Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax Transportation Improvement Program was adopted by the Board of Commissioners on December 14th, 2010, and approved by the voters of Cobb County on March 15th, 2011. Currently, there are 7 projects in pre-construction, 9 projects in the construction phase, and an additional 31 active projects at various stages of completion as a result of outstanding right-of-way expenses and disputed utility relocation expenses that are being negotiated. Remaining program funding of approximately $56.4 million is designated toward activities to close out these projects, which include approximately $31.8 million of obligated funding. Required closeout activities include both current and future construction, right-of-way and condemnation settlements, and utility relocation agreements. The department will brief the SPLOST Citizens Oversight Committee on the revised 2011 SPLOST TIP budget and schedule during the May 17, 2018 meeting. With that, we request the Board of Commissioners approve the revised budget and schedule of the 2011 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program, funded primarily by the 2011 Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, and authorize the corresponding budget transactions.
Commissioner Ott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hey, Jim, you want to just mention in this particular one, there's kind of reductions, and you told the board what that's about. You want to just kind of briefly tell the
Yes,
public?
when we do these every time, what happens is as we close out projects, and with this one in particular, the GDOT funding is reduced, so we reduce the overall revenue stream. We have to correspondingly reduce the expenditures as well.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir. Our second item is to approve a right of entry agreement with the Cumberland Mall LLC to allow access to Cumberland Mall parking lot for the construction purposes related to the Cumberland Boulevard project. Cumberland Boulevard is an approved project in the roadway improvements component of the 2016 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program. To minimize impacts to existing utilities, transit patrons utilizing the Cumberland Transfer Center, and Cumberland Mall patrons, original project design plans included pipelining of the existing pipe systems rather than replacement. This was to be performed by accessing each pipe through the existing structure on one end within the county rights-of-way. However, during construction, it has been determined that the pipelining of these systems located at the Cumberland Mall parking lot requires access to both ends. The property owner, Cumberland Mall LLC, has agreed to enter into a right of entry agreement to allow the required temporary construction access. Therefore, we request the Board of Commissioners approve a right-of-way agreement with Cumberland Mall to allow access to the Cumberland Mall parking lot for construction purposes related to Cumberland Boulevard.
Commissioner Ott.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir. Item number 3 is to approve a contract with Chatfield Contracting, Inc. for guardrail installation. Roadway improvements is an approved component of the 2016 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program. The low quote of $82,202 from Chatfield Contracting, Inc. was reviewed and found to be reasonable and responsive. The completion date for this project is 45 consecutive calendar days from the issuance of the notice to proceed. We request, therefore, that the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Chatfield Contracting, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $82,202 for guardrail installation at 3 locations.
Commissioner Ott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just kind of a note, there was some discussion yesterday during the agenda meeting as to how these just all happen to be in District 2. What happens is all the commissioners receive requests from the community for guardrails, traffic lights, different safety improvements. What happens is then DOT staff uses the federal standards and does a mandate study for each one of those items, and if it comes up that the particular item is mandated, then it comes in front of the board to be approved. So motion to approve.
Second. We have a second.
With warranted.
Okay, any discussion?
Yes.
Commissioner Cupid, sir.
Just to echo what Commissioner Ott said, we've had a number of requests for guardrails in the district. And as he provided, there are certain federal criteria that needs to be met and would encourage residents to continue to provide that. DOT would evaluate that according to what's referred to as AASHTO standards, which is a road sign design guide. And for these particular guardrails, they do meet warrants that are provided through those guidelines, but in some instances where residents have made requests, they have not met those guidelines. And so I just want the residents of the district to know we are providing those, and there is a staff evaluation that's objective, but that doesn't mean that there aren't instances where there'll be consideration of guardrails as additional requests come up.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'll call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir. Our 4th item is to approve change order number 2 final to the contract with C.W. Matthews Contracting Company, Inc. For construction of improvements at Pope High School, Hembry Road. Pope High School, Hembry Road is an approved school zone safety and operational improvements project in the 2005 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program. Construction is complete, and change order number 2 final to the contract with C.W. Matthews, a savings to the project in the amount of $332,781.59 is requested due to variation between the original and final plan quantities. Therefore, we request the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 2 final to the contract with C.W. Matthews Contracting Company, Inc., a savings to the project in an amount of $332,781.59 for construction of improvements at Pope High School, Hembry Road.
Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you. And very happy to see a savings on this project. Motion to approve.
Have a second? Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir. Our 5th item is to ratify previous action by the county manager authorizing emergency repairs to a segment of Woodlawn Drive. Drainage system improvements is an approved component of the 2016 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program. Project number X2239 to the 2018 countywide unit price contract with Chatfield Contracting, Inc., the lowest responsive unit price contractor, in an amount not to exceed $47,163 is requested for emergency repairs on Woodlawn Drive. Therefore, we request the Board of Commissioners ratify previous action by the county manager authorizing emergency repairs to a segment of Woodlawn Drive in response to a sinkhole in the roadway, project number X2239 to the 2018 countywide unit price contract with Chatfield Contracting, Inc., and an amount not to exceed $47,163 for said repairs.
Commissioner Ott.
I should let you make the motion.
Yes, you
since,
should.
It made it, you can get out of your driveway. Why don't you make the motion?
Make the motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir. Our 6th and final item is to authorize procurement of professional services to install speed humps on Horseshoe Bend Road. Traffic calming on county roads is often requested by citizens. The department has developed a program to address this need on local roads that meet specific criteria. The program includes the deployment of portable dynamic speed display sign and potential installation of speed humps. A solicitation for bids to install 15 speed humps was issued by the department on March 6, 2018. The total of 4 vendors respond, 3 of which are applied as no bid. The single bid from Butch Thompson Enterprises at a cost not to exceed $49,999.99 was reviewed and found to be reasonable and responsive. We therefore request the Board of Commissioners authorize procurement of professional services to install 15 speed humps on Horseshoe Bend Road, beginning at Powder Springs Road and ending on a separate location on Powder Springs Road.
Commissioner Cupid.
So moved.
Second. We have a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, tab 6, community development. Right, all right, I just want to make sure everybody knows that we're going to be making a motion to pull this agenda item. So I'll let Commissioner Cupid do that. Yes.
All right, I move that we pull the agenda item associated with tab 6, Community Development Regular Agenda.
We have a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, on to tab 7. This is public safety.
Good morning, Commissioners, Chairman, County Manager. Here today to appropriate sponsorship contributions and approve contract with B.E. Guthrie Construction, Inc. for the construction of an interactive school building at the Safety Village. As you know, the Safety Village educates approximately 22,000 students a year, along with another 4,000 students and adults throughout the year. And to expand that flexibility and have impact, we are working to build a building, a school, education type building that would be for 4th grade students to discuss internet safety. And this building would be roughly, in our village, a 27 by 32 size building. It could seat about 20 kids. The project is funded. The foundation, the Safety Village Foundation, looked for sponsorship. and it is funded through Stop Arm funds from the Cobb County School District, the Marietta School District, and the Department of Public Safety. The purchasing department have advertised an invitation to bid for this building in the Marietta Daily Journal for 4 weeks, and bids were opened February 22nd, 2018, with B.E. Guthrie Construction Company, Inc. coming in as the lowest responsible and responsive bid at $121,176. Therefore, we're asking the Board of Commissioners to appropriate the sponsorship contributions and approve a contract with B.E. Guthrie Construction, Inc. in the amount of $121,176 for construction of the interactive school building at the Safety Village, and authorize the corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Weatherford.
Thank you. Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Give a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great program out there at the Safety Village. All right, we have no more public comment, so that was tab 8, so we'll go on to tab 9. These are announcements, and I believe we have one today by Commissioner Ott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know Andy was going to try to be here, but he has to take care of his wife's mother. But before I make the announcement, I just want to make a comment about Mike Terry, who has been the chairman of the Planning Commission for the last 5 years and has been my appointee to the Planning Commission for my entire time as a commissioner here, so almost 9 years. And prior to that, he served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for the city of Smyrna. Mike has done a yeoman's job and a tremendous job in keeping the Planning Commission moving forward. It's been a difficult time over those many years. So I just want to publicly thank him. We're actually going to recognize him at the end of the month. But with that, I'd like to announce that Andy Smith will be taking his place starting May 1st.
Congratulations. Commissioner Burrow. Yes.
Commissioner Ott, I would like to echo the words of praise for Mike Terry. He has done an excellent job as a leader of the Planning Commissioner for the time he's been on there, and I'm sure that they will miss him and we will miss him, but we wish him well in his retirement.
And I'd also like to echo that. The Planning Commission is another one of those incredible organizations that's populated by citizens from the county who do so much homework that allow us to properly develop the county in a reasonable and responsible fashion. So Mike has been a calming hand, a very patient man, and I wish him nothing but the best. I want to thank him for his magnificent service to this county. So with that, we'll go on to tab 10, which is Commissioner comments. I'll start with the Commissioner Ott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Right. First one is Jim Wilgus. Could you come up? The first thing I'm going to talk about is actually an example of what Commissioner Cupid and I were talking about. We had a request from the community at the new Sewell Mill Library for a traffic light. And the warrant study was done, and it did not warrant a traffic light. However, it did warrant something that we don't do very often. That's a flashing light crosswalk. So Jim is up here to explain to everybody how it works.
Okay, what this is the crosswalk that's newly been installed at the Sewell Mill Cultural Center and Library. There was an existing crosswalk there before the project on Lower Roswell Road, and we put in the resurfacing after the construction was after the construction of the road. We did not put that crosswalk back in. We did go out and perform both a signal warrant study and a pedestrian signal warrant study, both of which did not meet. So when we put back the crosswalk close to its original location, we put a protective island in the middle, then on both sides put a device that's called a rectangular rapid flashing beacon, so that when a pedestrian punches the button on either side, the beacon will alert drivers that there's a potential pedestrian in that crosswalk and they can slow down and stop. It's similar to what we've got in several locations in the county.
Thank you. Next thing, I just want, as a reminder, my next town hall meeting will be on April 23rd from 7 to 8:30 over at SunTrust Park in the conference room. I look forward to having this. The first town hall I'm going to have in that area with the recent construction in the Battery and some of the apartments, we now have a vibrant community in there. So it's going to be a good opportunity to discuss the unique area and how the county can serve the folks over there. Parking is free in the red deck, so I look forward to having everybody there. Next Monday on April 16th at 6:30, the Vinings, there'll be a Vinings community-wide forum on crime. It'll be held at the Hotel Indigo in Vinings. The Vinings Village Homeowners Association will be bringing together Major Adcock, who is Precinct 3 Commander, to talk about current crime situation in the area, what actions law enforcement is taking, and what residents can do to protect themselves and support police activities. Seating is limited, so try to get there early if you're coming. And if you have any questions, there's a conversation on Next Door Vinings. And like I said, it's sponsored by Hotel Indigo Vinings. And finally, on May 1st, I will be participating in a opioid symposium hosted by Congresswoman Karen Handel. It goes from 1 until 5 in the afternoon. It is at Roswell City Hall. It has folks here from the county, Missy Owens from the zone, myself, District Attorney Vic Reynolds. Basically, it walks you through what about the crisis, the opioid crisis, resources that are available here in the county, and things that parents can do to educate themselves. I'm also going to talk about the Hope Trailer that we're working on here in the county, which is basically a trailer that's set up on the inside like a teenager's bedroom, bathroom, and closet. And inside that trailer, parents can come in and see what to look for to see if your child is using drugs. So there'll be news about this in my newsletter, but I think it'll be a very interesting forum for everyone that can attend. And that's all I have.
Could you also mention about the lawsuit that we've joined?
No, but I can. The county has joined over 300 other counties around the country in a, it's similar to a class action lawsuit, but basically a lawsuit against the drug manufacturers who we believe as a county and a board are contributories to the opioid crisis that we have here in the county. Unfortunately, Cobb County moves between number 1 and number 2 with opioid overdoses. And folks like Missy Owens over at the zone are doing a tremendous job in trying to reduce that number. And so the board, this is one step that the Board of Commissioners is taking to try to address the issue here in Cobb.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you. I'd first like to thank Superior Plumbing again for their generosity and Cobb County Animal Services. We have reached our first 50 adoptions for veterans. And we recently received another check for an additional 50 adoptions through Superior Plumbing, where veterans can fill out a form, go to the Cobb County Animal Shelter, and pick out their new best friend, dog or cat. So thank you to the staff at Cobb County Animal Services, and also big thanks to Superior Plumbing for their generous donation. Next Thursday, April 19th, Community Development will be hosting How to Do Business with ComDev, and you must register by this coming Tuesday, April 17th. You can email renee.morris@cobbcounty.org or call her at 770-528-2025 to register. It will be held at the Senior Services Dinner Theater, 1150 Powder Springs Road, from at 5 o'clock that evening. Registration starts. So come out and learn how to do business with ComDev. Also, on April 28th, the Skip Wells Simplify 5K the Skip Wells Foundation is hosting a 5K race to provide scholarships for students for college or technical school to further their education. It will be held Saturday, April 28th at 8 o'clock a.m. at KSU. And you can visit tortoiseandthehareracing.com for more information and to register. Also on April 28th, Keep Cobb Beautiful will be hosting Medical Disposal Day, Medication Disposal Day, sorry, from 10 to 2 p.m. at Precinct 1, 2380 Cobb Parkway, Kennesaw. And you can visit keepcobbbeautiful.org to drop off your expired or unused medical medication. And also, April 30th, in this room, we will be hosting our annual How to Do Business with Cobb in partnership with the Cobb County School District. So come learn how to be a vendor, and it will be held from 5 to 7 here in this room. It is free to attend, but you do need to register, and you can email inger.eberhardt@cobbcounty.org or call my office at 770-528-3317. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Weatherford.
Thank you, sir. I have a few announcements today. The first is honored to announce that our own Dr. Gullidge from the Chief Medical Examiner was just announced as an award recipient from the U.S. District Attorney's Office here in Atlanta for his work in recognizing for exceptional work with heroin, a working group. I mean, it seems like we're talking about a lot of drugs today, and I sound like I may be on some, but so anyway, they're going to give an announcement. They're going to do this awards on Thursday, April 19th. Well, let me retract that. That was that was off the record. So anyway, on Thursday, April 19th at 2 p.m. at the Richard Russell Federal Building, they will be giving him his award. So we're honored to have Dr. Gullidge receiving that as the Chief Medical Examiner of Cobb County. We're proud of all the work that he does. And along with that, this is the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. So we're proud of Cobb 911 and our Director, Destiny Davidson, and the great job they do. The unsung heroes, nothing happens until you call them. And then once they do, they dispatch the proper public safety personnel. So if you get a chance and you know someone that's in 911 or 911 operator anywhere, congratulate them on being recognized this week for all the fine work that they do. And along with public safety, if you may know that we do a lot of things in public safety. Some go unnoticed, some are noticed, but recently we had a fire out in West Cobb and Station 18. The man's house was completely gutted and burnt down. And here we have a picture of members of Station 18 down at Brookstone on Mars Hill Road taking the time. The only thing basically that survived was a flag on the porch. And here they are doing it, proper folding and presenting it back to the owner. This is another example of our public safety going above and beyond what they are required to do to take care of the members of our community. So congratulations to the members of Station 18. And finally, I am conducting a joint joint town hall tonight with the City of Ackworth. It'll be their presentation and ours on joint projects as well as what's going on in the city. So if you're in the area tonight at 6:30 at Ackworth Municipal Court, we will hold that joint public hearing. We'll have a meet and greet session before and after with staff and projects that are going on in Northwest Cobb as well. So any other information you need, please feel free to sign up for my newsletter, and we'll publish that every Friday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Cupid.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I am remiss in not sharing that I will begin a series of State of the District addresses beginning next week, Thursday. The first one will be Thursday, April 19th at the South Cobb Rotary Club meeting at noon at Austell Presbyterian Village off of East-West Connector. And the public is typically invited to attend. You could feel free to come to that meeting. I've also been invited to provide a similar address at the South Cobb Area Council for the Cobb Chamber, and that is Tuesday, May 1st, and that is held in Austell at the Riverside Epicenter, and that will be at 11:30 a.m. And I can't say whether or not that is free of charge or not, but I will offer one that is free of charge and a date tentative of Tuesday, May 8th. Location is to be determined, and that will be in the evening, so it's accessible to residents. There are a lot of good things going on in the district, and I am always excited to share those updates with residents at that meeting. There is yet another public safety event that's going on, and that is our Cobb Pal Midnight Basketball League. And in fact, I think that's going to kick off April 13th, which is this Friday. When is it? This upcoming week, this Friday, at the South Cobb Recreation Center, and this is for boys ages 13 through 17. I don't know why girls are not invited, because girls can hoop too. I just caught that, but
They might win.
I'm gonna put that to the side. They might win. But this is for boys ages 13 through 17, and this is every Friday and Saturday. You can register at cobbcounty.org/PAL to learn more about that information. And many of you know that we are in election season. For those of you who tune in, I'm pretty sure that you are the educated and active members of our community. However, if you're tuning in and you think that election season begins in November, I want to let you know that that you stand corrected, that it actually begins with our primaries that occur in the month of May. And to register to vote for our primary, the last day to vote on the May 22nd general primary is April 24th. And you can register or check for registration by going to mvp.sos.ga.gov. An easier way, if you live in Cobb, is just to contact Cobb Elections. They have a website online at cobbelections.org, or you can call them at 770-528-2581. Lastly, I'd like to share that we've had ongoing free training for residents to learn about careers in construction. And there's going to be an upcoming session for residents to participate. And that is going to be held at the Cobb Collaborative, excuse me, not the Cobb Collaborative, the Cobb Collective, excuse me. And if you'd like to learn more about it, you can go to thecollectiveac.org/partners. You can reach out to my office. They've been putting on this event for at least a couple of years, and the graduation events are truly touching. The residents who participate go through a training for about 2 or 3 months. A lot of them walk away with jobs that are paying up to $15 an hour. So if you're looking to get involved in this industry, that's a strong industry here in Georgia and that continues to grow, please feel free to reach out to the Cobb Collective, or you can reach out to my office to find more information. Thank you.
Commissioner, I believe Commissioner Ott's appointment has showed up, so.
Yes, Andy, you want to come up? You have to get used to being in front of the camera here, so. Just kind of, this is Andy Smith, and to give you a little bit of his background. He is a Georgia Tech grad, a degree in architecture, and I know Lisa's happy about that. Also, small business owner, has his own construction business, also is a trained crew leader for Habitat for Humanity, and we have actually, I think, worked on 8 homes together. He's left-handed, I'm right-handed, and we always have to make sure that we know which direction we are talking about when we're doing measurements, right? So, welcome aboard.
We'll have to keep that up, too.
Yes.
Good to have you, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Andy also runs an incredible lawnmower service 1 day a year for our church.
Yes, and actually, this past weekend, through Andy's efforts, raised $1,800 for the Seven Bridges recovery.
So he's a true man of the
Bob was there helping, too.
Thank you, Andy. Good to have you. Just want to make a couple small announcements. First of all, I want to remind everybody that the federal government has raised the millage rate on my income this year. So taxes are due next week. Believe it or not, voting starts as early as April 30th for early voting. So starting this month, the primary season gets underway, and that's just a couple weeks away. And once again, another great service by the county to get people to, you can mail in your, you can go online to register to vote. there's really very little excuse where if you're over 18, why you can't vote in this county. This county makes it so easy for you to apply and get involved in your county. I want to also thank a couple people. Is Destiny here? Or did she leave already? Come on up, Destiny. I know you're going to be embarrassed by this, but this is the day where we just acknowledge so many great people in Cobb County, both on the county staff and volunteers. Destiny oversees the 911 center, and as Commissioner Weatherford mentioned, this was National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. The board at the last session has added to the staff for 911 because it all starts with 911. And those who have not had the opportunity to see the incredible center that we have in this county. When I do my ride-alongs, I'm just amazed at how professional the 911 operators are. The 18-month program they have to go through before they can start doing this job. They're truly one of the unheralded professionals of this county. And I want to thank all you do by your leadership to make sure that we continue to have a county where we can safely work, live, play, and pursue our dreams. So congratulations on your week, and make sure your staff knows that we appreciate all they do for us, and we're going to continue to do what we can to make sure that they're properly supported. Thank you, Destiny. You bet. And then we also have another of our employees. I don't think Cassie's here today. Is Cassie back there? Cassie, come on up here. Yes. This is Cassie Masloum. One of my favorite stories about Cassie is, back in December when we had the forecast of snowstorm of 1/2 inch and it won't stick, and then it went to 10 inches. And I'll never forget that morning. We had the board had met with the delegation for 2 hours from 8 to 10 in the morning. And then at 10 o'clock, I walk out of the conference room and I see it's more than 1/2 inch and it's clearly sticking. So I called Cassie up and I said, Cassie, tell me what's going on here, So she gets about 20 seconds into the explanation. I said, Cassie, don't build me a watch. Tell me what you want us to do. She says, I think we should close the county. And we did. And I think that was the right call. But the best part of the story was that Cassie told me later on, she called her mother and says, Mom, I think I just closed the county.
I grew up that day.
But Cassie is now a sponsored attendee for the 2018 National Homeland Security Conference scheduled for July 9th through 12th. And Cassie's another one of the incredible public servants we have in this county. So Cassie, I want to thank you for all that you've done. And I want you to know that the board once again appreciates all you and your staff that you do to keep this county safe.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You bet. And then last, I just want to announce that a program that the county is implementing starting on Thursday, Cobb 101. In our effort to get out and tell the citizens what their government does, we started this program where we're inviting people to apply for a program to attend for about, is it a 12-week program? Yes, where they come and learn about the county government. And you saw this morning the many wheels that make this the best place to live in Georgia. And I really say that without any kind of equivocation or doubt. And it's because of the staff that we have here. So this program is going to bring citizens of Cobb to come learn about their county and see what they get for their taxpayer dollar. And I'll guarantee you, when they leave here, they're really going to be impressed because we see it every day, and they're going to get to see it up front and close. So with that, I think that's the announcements that I have, and we're going to have a public hearing. They're going to take a short break here and then have a public hearing. So thank you all of you for coming today, and those who choose to want to stay for the hearing can do so.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, we're back in session here. And now we're going to go to tab number 11, I believe. Yes. For a appeal hearing. And then we have Attorney Sam Hensley will make an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. County Manager, Madam County Attorney. For the benefit of the applicant, I am Sam Hensley Jr. I represent the Cobb Business License Division. And we are here today on an appeal of a denial of an alcohol work permit for Ms. Noelle Bishopel. Ms. Bishopel applied for an alcohol work permit, Mr. Chairman, on January 3rd of this year. On her application, Ms. Bishopel disclosed a disqualifying felony conviction that our witness will discuss the substance of. This conviction was a violation of Code Section 6-206 and 207 in the Cobb Alcohol Code, which prohibits the issuance of an alcohol work permit to anyone guilty of a felony within the 5 years immediately prior to the application. As a result of that, the Business License Division administratively denied the application. Ms. Bishopel appealed that denial to the License Review Board, which was originally scheduled to be heard, or in fact was heard on January 25th of this year. At that time, the License Review Board recommended upholding the administrative denial of that application, and then the matter was appealed by the applicant to this board. We originally had this on the agenda for March 13th. It was continued until today's date. I do not believe that Ms. Bishopel is represented by counsel. So with your leave, Mr. Chairman, I will swear in the witnesses and present my first and only witness.
Okay, please proceed.
If you'll be testifying in this hearing, or believe you may be testifying, would you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this proceeding shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say, I do. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd like to call Sergeant Bonnie Smith, Mr. Chairman.
Morning.
Good morning. Could you please state your full name for the record?
Bonnie Smith.
And where are you employed,
The
Sergeant
Cobb
Smith?
County Police Department, Sergeant assigned to the Regulatory Services Permit Unit.
Okay, and how long have you been in that unit?
Almost 9 years.
Okay, and how long have you been with the Cobb Police Department overall?
Just short of 29 years.
And can you briefly tell us a little bit about your responsibilities as a member of the Regulatory Services and Permits Unit?
Yes, we regulate all businesses in Cobb County that hold an alcohol license. That includes the employees who are required by the code to obtain the server permits. We also do some other jobs, wreckers and pawn shops and things like that that are required regulations.
Okay, so you do process applications for alcohol work permits, is that correct?
I do.
And are you familiar with the applicant here today, Ms. Noelle Bishopel?
I am. She was in our office on January 3rd of 2018, applying for an alcohol service permit for the pizza spot at 1450 Veterans Memorial Highway in Mableton.
Okay, and did you personally review the application that was sent, or did someone in your office?
Someone in my office took it at the front window, and
Okay.
then once we found some issues with it, I had met with her in the back and discussed what her options were at that time.
And what were the issues that you found on this application?
We determined that when we ran her criminal history as part of the background investigation to determine eligibility, she did not return with a Georgia criminal history because that's all we look at. She did, however, write on the back that she had a drug charge out of St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, and her disposition was showing 4 months. Not really knowing if that was what that sentence meant. But she wrote that was a offense date in December of 2016. When we reviewed the information that did return once we ran her criminal history, we received a warning showing that she was on probation or supervised release status through federal probation. And there was a note that advised us to contact federal probation within 24 hours if any inquiry or contact was made concerning the subject. Advise the nature and reason for the inquiry or contact. So I contacted the listed person on there, who is the probation officer through federal probation, and determined that she was, in fact, convicted in December 8th of 2016. She has a federal felony conviction for possession with intent to distribute out of St. Thomas.
Okay, so she was honest on her application. She did reveal that
did.
information so
Yes.
that you could follow up with it.
Absolutely. Mhm.
And on the basis of that information, what did you do with the application at that point?
We administratively denied it based on the felony conviction, and that's when I met with her in the back and we had a conversation. I gave her options and she decided at that time she wanted to file an appeal to the License Review Board, so we went through that process and gave her a form to do that.
Very good. That's all the questions I have, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if the applicant has any questions. Do you have any questions for Sergeant Smith? Unless the board has any, that's
Yes.
my presentation.
Mr. Cupid?
Yes, I have a question. You said there was a conviction in Virgin Islands?
I'm sorry, say that
There was a
again.
conviction out of the Virgin Islands?
Yes, St. Thomas Virgin Islands, she was convicted for a felony possession with intent to distribute narcotics.
Okay. And the time served, that was outside the state of Georgia?
I don't recall where she served it. It was 4 months, I believe, in
4
custody.
months. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Okay. If, it's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I assume that was a U.S. Virgin Islands, so anything there applies to here, is that the
That's
way?
correct, that she's on federal probation through the United States, correct.
So then our probation can be served anywhere in the United States, I guess, or does it have to be served there?
No, she's on probation here. She reports to the Northern District for federal
Okay.
probation, which is here in Georgia,
So all that's in compliance?
Yes.
As far as you can tell? Okay,
as far as I know.
thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Cupid.
Yes, from reading Ms. Bishop Pell's application to be considered for approval or denial of her permit, she provides that she served 4 months and is on a 2-year probation. She's currently on probation, I presume, since this occurred in December of 2016?
Correct.
Okay. So she has a probation officer that she has to report to.
Correct, and that's where I got that miscellaneous information that they had to report back to them while we had contact with her. That came from her federal probation officer.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner, I believe she lives in your district?
Yes, I mean, I don't have any questions for,
It's actually in Mableton.
well, the restaurant's in Mableton, right? But
Yes.
Yeah, the
But I
restaurant.
think her address that she lives in is in District 2.
Gotcha, yes, sir.
Right. So, but no, I don't have any questions yet.
Anybody else on the board have questions of the officer?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
The conviction in December was the only conviction?
We
on-
only see Georgia criminal history information and anything that would relate to this. I don't have any Georgia criminal history whatsoever. The only reason I have this is because we got this federal return. I don't
Okay.
know any information whatsoever of anything else outside the United States
Okay.
or
All
out of
right, so
Georgia.
I guess I have a following questions. And you got the federal return because she put it on the application?
No, I got the federal return because we ran her criminal history through Georgia. I only do a Georgia criminal history, so anything in any other state I would not see as far as a criminal history.
Okay, but you did say that she did put it on her application?
She did, she
Right,
listed
okay.
her, yes, sir, yes.
So, does the record reflect, for instance, we have accountability courts here for DUIs, for veterans. Does the record reflect that she had any kind of a program like that after she was convicted?
I'm not aware of that. I
Okay.
don't know the answer. to
I
that
was just
question.
curious, yeah. Any other members of the board? I know, I'll just try. With no other further from the board, I think we're done with this witness. Thank
That's
you.
correct, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. That's my only witness.
Hi, how you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We'd like to hear from you.
Okay, in 2016, I went to jail for 4 months. Well, yeah, 17. Yeah, I went to jail for 4 months for possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous up here. From then, I served my 4 months. I have a 2-year probation, which this month makes it a year that I have completed. I have 300 community service hours as well. I've completed half of that, so in 2 months I should be done my community service, which will allow me to be eligible to get off of probation early. I know that it was very challenging going through all of this, and the decisions I had made to get here was very not responsible, but through my process and through the entire situation, I have really learned a lot. I've grown. I have, realized that you know, you cannot jeopardize your freedom, and everything is not worth jeopardizing your freedom. I have been through a lot of ups and downs with this situation, and I just, you know, don't want to be noticed about like I don't want to be judged on my past, you know, and just the broken pieces and the horrible decisions I made. But just, you know, knowing that going forward, I have a different mind state. I have, you know, I am grown a lot from the decisions and the things that had happened. Even being incarcerated has, you know, helped me mentally become a different person. I did take a drug and alcohol abuse class after I came home. And I, you know, have been just walking a straight path since.
Okay, any members of the board like to ask your questions? Sure, I'll start with Commissioner Burrow.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
On your application, it says that you're, for the type of position you have with the pizza spot, that you're a bartender. Have you been working as a bartender?
Yes.
Okay, but without a permit?
No. I thought you was talking about prior.
Okay, that was previously
Yes, before I had
applied.
Yes.
So are you still working there now in a different capacity, or?
No, I have been just working. My friend, she has a few businesses, so I help her with that, and I also do massage therapy, and I was working with that. But where I was working, they didn't renew their contract, so I had stopped there. But other than that, I just, you know, I work with my friend, just assisting her with her companies until I could get my permit back.
Okay. But nothing regarding with a restaurant or bar?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Commissioner Rudd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I noticed when we were talking about Andy Smith and I mentioned the Seven Bridges, you seemed familiar.
Oh, yes, that's
So
where
you want to tell us a little bit about that? I kind of guessed why you are.
Oh, yeah, I do my community service there. I volunteer there 3 times a week, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Actually, being there has helped me a lot with like being comfortable about my situation, and because they always make me feel like, you know, I know you made a mistake, but you know, God has given you a second chance, and they have helped me. Being there has helped me like just a lot, just even just helping people. I've learned to want to help people, especially people that cannot do anything for me, like because you help the needy because they cannot help you. And I've learned how to pray more and to speak to God differently. The people there are very just like, I was just telling the one guy, David, I was like, you know, I just try to want to be like y'all more because they're just so giving, like of their time and they just give to the, because I go feed the homeless people with them, and it's just like, you know, like wow, like, you know, life is really hard and people just sometimes can't really get it together, and it makes me want to just be so much better and, you know, not put myself in situations where I just cannot get out of.
Just so I'm not sure if all the board members know what Seven Bridges is. Why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
It's a homeless shelter for women and children, and it's also a church, and they have a men ministry as well. But it's just a place that, you know, it takes in women and children, and they give them like a place to stay. Like basically, they have like this. It's like a big place for them to stay. I guess they could get their lives together, and sometimes I help feed the children and the women. But lately, I've just been doing the routes with the guys. But it's a really good place for people, I guess, to, you know, who is coming off of drugs or don't have nowhere, don't have no family, that don't have anything, and they give so much, and so many people bless them with clothes and food and just their time. Like they get so much stuff. Like I even donate a lot of stuff. I get my friends to donate stuff to them as well.
Do you see yourself continuing to work there when you're done your 300 hours?
Yes, I do. I had actually just had this conversation with Nick. I was like, at this point, because people always say to me, like, when you do your community service, like, does it bother you? And I'm like, at first, you just have a different mind state, like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. But now it's like when I go there, I want to go there. I want to pray with them because I learned so much from the prayers when they say the scripture. I just feel like, now I actually like I love the people there like that. I feel like I work with them because I'm there so much, but it's just like they are really good people, and I will continue to help them. I probably couldn't continue to do it as many days out the week as I do now, but I would definitely still go Fridays and Saturday mornings to go feed the homeless, and because people just start to, you start to develop relationships with people, so it's just not like I just don't want to end it. And it's like I like going there. I like the energy. I like the people. Like they're really, really nice people.
Okay. One last question. The whole situation that got you here in the first place was related to the marijuana. Have you had any instances related to alcohol?
No.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Anybody else?
Thank you. You mentioned, it was told that you served 4 months. Was that in the Virgin Islands? For the 4 months?
No, they don't have a federal prison in St. Thomas, so I served probably like a month in Puerto Rico, which is like their prison. They send everyone there, and then I got transferred to Florida, Marianna, Florida.
All right. I'm just wondering why it was a federal offense instead of a local offense. Do they not have local?
I believe it was federal because it was traveling.
Or you were traveled over there to do it?
Yes.
Okay. Trafficking, yeah, basically, yeah.
Yes.
All right. You mentioned you did your 300 hours of service, and if you complete
I
that.
haven't completed it yet. I have 147 hours left.
And if you do that, your probation is over early. Is that what you mentioned?
Yes, I'm eligible to get it off early because I have a really low grade, and I don't get in any trouble. So once you do half of your time, then you're allowed to try to get off early.
And you're almost 6 months away from completing the 2 years, correct?
No, I did a year. April 5th was a year of this month.
Oh, got it. Okay. And you also mentioned you took a class, drug, alcohol.
Yeah, I had for my probation, I had to take a drug alcohol counseling class.
And as part of your probation, are you required to be tested periodically, or?
Yes.
Okay. And all those, I assume, have come back with no issues, correct?
No issues. I have no issues.
Thank you. I certainly, for one, appreciate your honesty about all this. So thank you.
I just want to, I know this is hard, but, this is a responsible decision. We speak for the people, and if we're going to let you do this, we just want to make sure we have everything on the table. So I appreciate your honesty, and I know how difficult this is, but I think we need to just make sure that we understand the circumstances here. So, look, I have children your age, all right? I understand it's a different time.
Yes.
And you have lifestyle patterns that might be different than ours, but the reality is you got caught.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And I appreciate you accepting that, and really admitting that on your application speaks volumes about you. And I mean that.
It's like, at one point, I couldn't even talk about it. But once I went through counseling and I've been around people who have, even going to jail, I just have to accept, the cards that I have. I have to accept my life how it is, and this is now, from a decision I made, this is now part of my life. So I just have to accept it, and I feel like I don't have to let it define me, but I just have to deal with what comes with it, because it's nothing that's not looked upon. You understand?
Sure.
So it's like I have to just take what comes with being a felon.
All right. Well, I just appreciate that, and again, I do mean it. We have a number of people that apply for positions as police officers. It's amazing the number of those who do not tell on their application that they have a felony and think they won't be caught.
Yeah.
And you stepped up to the plate early, and I mean, that speaks volumes about you. So, you got caught in in a federal offense by going to St. Thomas. And I'm guessing that the reason it was trafficking is because you took the drugs with you?
Yes.
And because of the travel,
Yeah.
that the law defines that as trafficking. So
Yes.
that's why they did. All right. Okay, fine. I have no other questions. Sam?
I have a few questions,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, to kind of follow up on what some of the board members have talked about. Ms. Bishopel, do you understand that if you are granted an alcohol work permit, that you are the last line of defense from someone getting alcohol that shouldn't get it, whether it's an underage person, an intoxicated person, who could then go out on the street and maybe kill somebody in a car wreck? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. I take very pride in that. If I'm working, I card everybody, and if I see someone who has had too much to drink, I would tell them, would you like some water? Do you need somebody to call you an Uber? Like, I cannot serve you any more alcohol at all. And
So you understand then that really your job entails following the rules. You've got to
Yes.
card people, you've got to know
Yes.
how to identify a fake ID,
yes,
all of those things.
yes, I thoroughly follow the rules. Yeah.
Because when you brought marijuana into the United States, you didn't follow the rules, did you?
No, I did not.
And somebody in, was it St. Thomas,
Yes.
offered to pay you to bring marijuana into the United States, correct?
It's the opposite. I was here going there.
And took it down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you knew when you did that, that marijuana might
was
wind
very
up in the
risky.
hands of children, people that didn't need to get it, right?
Correct.
So
Yes.
what has changed in your life from that time to now where this board in this county doesn't have to worry about you making a similar decision when faced with somebody trying to buy alcohol from you?
I feel like I was scared straight. I went to jail. That is, I don't know how people can just repeatedly go to jail because that was just very it for me. I feel like my decision making is very better. I don't play none of that. Like I just cannot. No, if I just cannot fall back into none of that type of lifestyle. If you're underage, you cannot drink. I don't even like to associate myself with people under 21, basically. But if you look younger, you don't have an ID, you cannot drink. If
Is
you
your,
are-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you look like you had too much to drink, you cannot drink.
Is your probation supervisor aware that you're applying for a
Yes.
job to serve alcohol?
Yes, he wrote me a letter as well,
Okay.
saying that it doesn't mess with my probation at all.
Is there any other job that you could get that would not involve you serving alcohol or being around alcohol?
I'm pretty sure it would be probably really hard because I like have to like my job kind of fluctuate with my community service because so I can go so many times a week. But where I'm working now, like I don't serve alcohol.
Where do you work now?
Well, it's not really like I work with my friend. She has a company, so I just assist her, like assistant basically, on things she needs to get done and help her with her day-to-day scheduling. And if she has to do a photo shoot or stuff like that, like I help her with that.
But you could make a living doing that and not serving alcohol.
I mean, it wouldn't be a good living, but I would
I
have
can't
to
hear
make do.
We didn't
Speak
hear
into
the
the
last
microphone.
answer.
I said it wouldn't be a good living. Like I would make just barely making my ends meet, which I am now. But I mean, it's not working at a bar now.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you for both of you. And you can sit down, young lady.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Hensley, you can make your opportunity for make closing remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be very brief. Obviously, Ms. Bishopel has done a lot of great things since the time she was convicted of this offense, and I applaud her for that. She's, I think, learned some valuable lessons. It does give me pause, as I'm sure it does you too, the magnitude of the offense insofar as how many people that potentially could have affected and perhaps did affect by not following the rules in regard to an addictive substance, an illegal substance. So I think that's something to bear in mind as well. But again, I see somebody who is certainly trying to change, is in the process of change. But the ultimate decision is whether that person is to be entrusted with the sale of alcohol in Cobb County, recognizing the potential effect of not following the rules in that arena could have on our citizens. But as always, I will leave that decision in the sound judgment of this board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let's discuss this first, and then I'll make the motion. How's that sound? Okay, everybody? Okay. Commissioner Ott, you make comments?
Yes, I do, actually. I've sat through many of these during my time up here, and I have to say that that's probably one of the most honest, open discussions and testimony I've heard. I truly believe that you learned a big lesson. I mean, I understand what Mr. Hensley is saying about, yes, it's a pretty big crime. We don't normally have federal crimes here in front of us. But I think what's more important is the way you answered the questions, what you had to say, and you know, with being very familiar with Seven Bridges, I know you've learned a lot over there, and that was very obvious in the answers that you said, and knowing some of the people over there, they're had a much rougher road than you've had, even though yours has been pretty rough, and so I applaud you for working over there. I think, Mr. Chairman, the other thing is too, yes, Mr. Hensley is correct that she did not follow the rules. But this is one of those few times where we're not talking about an alcohol offense. We're talking about drugs, okay? And we're not talking about somebody who has a DUI. We're not talking about somebody who had alcohol as a minor. Yes, she made a mistake. She's paid the penalty for that mistake, actually more severely than most people that have been in front of us have paid for her mistake. But I think when it comes to alcohol, this is one of those rare times where we don't have somebody in front of us who has demonstrated a lack of understanding of how the alcohol rules work. She's here simply because she was honest and disclosed something that we may or may not have found. I mean, you know, we heard that from Bonnie that we may not have found it, possibly, in our search because it's not a Georgia offense. So I would actually, I have no problem with supporting giving her the server's license. To me, this is one of the opportunities that we have as a board to give someone a second chance to make up for their mistakes and try to get their life back on track. Because although in her answers to Mr. Hensley about could she do another job, I think we all know that the difficulties that convicted felons have in getting work. And so I think that based on her answers and the other things that she said and the things that I've seen, you know, that she's told us that she's done, I think she's kind of almost the example of the person that we want to put up there and say, you know, look, you can make a mistake, you're going to pay for it, but we are also going to give you a chance to put your life back on track. I mean, you know, she didn't have the ability to go through an accountability court. That's exactly what those are for. Right. You know, if she'd been here in Cobb County, she might have had the opportunity to do that. So I view our ability to give her a service permit as our opportunity to help her on that path to recovery.
Thank you. Commissioner Burrow?
I agree. The crime was very serious, and to obtain a server's permit is a privilege, to have a license to serve alcohol. And even though your conviction was for possession of marijuana and intent to distribute, I understand how you got to the federal crime level with that and traveling. But it is still very serious, and you have served your time, and I feel you deserve a second chance. So just to be clear, if she receives a server's permit after today, if this is approved, that will expire at the end of the year, and she will have to renew it for next year. Okay, so she would have to apply again for a renewal for another year. So this will be a good test for the next few months, if you're approved today, to see, you know, to make sure you stay on the right track. And then if you have no other issues between now and the end of the year, then you should be able to renew it again and over again. So I believe you deserve a second chance, and I support your approval today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Weatherford.
Thank you. I believe Commissioner Ott read my notes and said it much more eloquently than I could, and totally agree with him 100%. And then Commissioner Burrow had the last question I was going to ask. So I'm in complete agreement with both the previous commissioners.
Commissioner Cupid?
I'm in support of what Commissioner Weatherford said. I support what's been shared by other commissioners. We've seen a lot of people come up here and appeal permits before, and we have a tendency to appreciate people who are remorseful, and on top of that, appreciate people who are just open and honest about their circumstance, and you are all of the above. The offense that brought you here is a quite serious offense. As was shared, I don't recall a federal offense being the basis for someone being here on appeal. But I also know by the grace of God go so many of us.
Amen.
And there's some things that we all do that are not right or even the lawful things, but we are not in a position to be judged by others or for us to be, caught by it. And so we all have opportunity in our life to examine ourselves and to put our best foot forward every day as we look at the things that we do, whether it's small, like driving 56 and a 55, or even 65, 55. But I must say that you've gone a long way to not just appeal it to the License Review Board, but you're coming here in front of the commissioners. As you can see, this is a public process. The public is viewing this. So I think that shows how committed you are to believing that you will be responsible with this permit. But as you're being held accountable by us, the public is also watching you too. And it's not to add pressure, but we are here as a mediator of that pressure because of the public trust that people have instilled in us. We are assessing our code with respect to how we view these permits, and it may be modified. And something that Commissioner Ott spoke about was looking at the relationship to what you've done and the permit that you're asking for. And these are questions that we're asking ourselves. The offense that you had, it was related to a illegal substance, or that a substance that wasn't used properly. So it is somewhat related to you being entrusted to serve another another substance which is regulated. My prayer is that you'll be trained properly and you'll abide by whatever regulations are surrounding that alcohol permit. You've done this before, so you know what's surrounding that, and as you provided, you've had no run-ins with respect to that. So it'll be our expectation that that continue. But I truly wish you the best of luck as you move forward. I appreciate, again, your honesty and openness in front of all of us, but I appreciate the corrective steps that you've taken in going to training and for volunteer hours. My presumption is that you have latitude to choose what you can do for some of the volunteer work, and you chose, 7 Bridges to Recovery, which I think is also a testament to your recognition of opportunity throughout all of the challenges that you've had. I think there's one safeguard that we do have as a board is that you're still on probation too, so that you're being tested on a regular basis, so there's a level of monitoring of your activity while you'll be granted this permit, even though you'll have opportunity to be considered for early release from that. I think that's of some comfort to know that that extra layer is there because of the seriousness of the offense. And this is just something we haven't had before. So with that, again, I just wish you the best of luck and appreciate the changes that you've made in life and pray that that continues for you.
Just the thing that gives me comfort is that you're doing your volunteer service with 7 Bridges. And I know that staff, I've done work with them. The lives they change are also those who volunteer, their lives were changed. So I would really, really take a hard look at that group and see what they do to make sure that people are given a second chance and are loved and supported. And because you are associated with them, that's probably the reason I'm going to support. To make a motion now that we approve your application for a Cobb County alcohol permit. And one last, comment, sure.
The kind of the unsung heroes in the back there. We go through these hearings all the time, and I just want to thank Sam and folks from the business license and public safety and all that, because you all do a tremendous job. I mean, there's a whole lot of effort that goes into all these background checks that you do and all the things that you uncover and the stuff that you bring forward. And, we always talk about the folks that are applying, but we never really recognize the fact that you all do a tremendous job. So thank you.
Great point. And with that, I'll call a question. Passes 5-0. And I just want you to know, young lady, don't let us down. Okay, thank you. With that, we're adjourned. You're very welcome. May the Lord be with you.